The story of Bani Israel and the giant people Darabamalo. This story dates back to the time when Prophet Musa alayhi salam had liberated Bani Israel from the tyranny of Pharaoh and brought them out of Egypt. This was a nation that had witnessed the signs of Allah with their own eyes. They had seen how the strike of a staff divided the waters of the Nile, how Pharaoh and his army were drowned, and how Allah blessed them with bounties like man and salwa. But human nature is peculiar. When the stomach is full and comfort is attained, it often inclines back toward ingratitude and cowardice. Bani Israel were now in the wilderness of Sinai when the divine command came. O Musa, take your people and enter this holy land, Talalalalu, which Allah has ordained for you. This was a monumental test because, at that time, Baitul Muqaddas was occupied by a nation known as the Amalekites, or the Jabareen, the giants. These were no ordinary humans. Traditions state they had immense heights, bodies as hard as steel, and faces so terrifying that a beholder might die of fright. Their strength was such that they could uproot massive boulders from mountains and hurl them. Prophet Musa alayhi salam knew this was a severe trial. Therefore, he first selected 12 spies or leaders to investigate and commanded them. Go and find out the conditions of the city. But beware, whatever you see there, report it only to me. Do not discuss it among the common people, or the morale of the nation will shatter. Friends, when these 12 individuals reached near the settlement, their eyes were wide with shock. They saw that the inhabitants looked less like humans and more like walking mountains. It is even narrated that the fruits there were so large that several men were needed to carry a single cluster of grapes. When these spies saw an ordinary man of the Jabareen, their hearts trembled. They felt that in front of those colossal beings, they were merely like locusts or tiny insects. The fear that settled in their hearts shook the foundations of their faith. They forgot that the Lord who had humbled the arrogant Pharaoh was with them. But fear blinds a person so much that they see the enemy standing in front of them, but fail to see the God standing beside them. When the spies returned, their faces were pale with terror. Despite the advice of Prophet Musa alayhi salam, 10 of them could not control their emotions and spread the word throughout the nation that the people there were such that fighting them meant walking into the jaws of death. They said, "We have seen with our own eyes how powerful they are. They will crush us under their feet." Suddenly, an uproar broke out among Bani Israel. The nation that had just tasted freedom and witnessed the miracles of Allah's power instantly fell into the depths of cowardice. People began to scream and wail, tearing their clothes and pleading to Prophet Musa alayhi salam, "O Musa, were we not happy in slavery in Egypt? Have you brought us here to die in this desert? If we go there, those giants will kill us and take our women and children captive. It would have been better if we had died in Egypt." Imagine what Prophet Musa alayhi salam must have felt at that moment. A prophet who had confronted kings for the freedom of his people and sacrificed his own peace. Today, that same nation stood before him saying, "We cannot fight." In this moment, only 2 among the 12 spies were men of Allah whose faith was unshakable: Yusha bin Nun and Caleb bin Yufina. These 2 stood up and tried to reason with the people. "O people, do not be afraid. Just enter through the gate. By Allah, as soon as you step forward, victory will be yours." They are physically large, but their hearts are weak, because they do not have the help of Allah. And you have Allah. Just show courage. Allah will do the rest. But when fear makes a home in the heart, advice loses its effect. The nation did not listen to them and even rushed to attack them. Then, Bani Israel uttered that historical sentence which sealed their misfortune as mentioned in the Holy Quran. They told Prophet Musa alayhi salam plainly, "O Musa, as long as those giants are there, we will never enter that city. You and your Lord go and fight. We are sitting right here." These were not just words. This was a rejection of Allah's mercy and an insult to the Prophet whose prayers caused clouds to shade them and food to descend from the heavens. Hearing this sentence, Prophet Musa's alayhi salam heart broke. He fell in prostration before Allah and cried, "O my Lord, I have no control over anyone except myself and my brother Harun. So, judge between us and this disobedient nation." This was the height of a prophet's helplessness and grief, that he was pleading for Allah's judgment against his own people. The wrath of Allah was stirred. When humans are ungrateful for Allah's blessings and prioritize their cowardice over His command, Allah withdraws His favors. Revelation came to Prophet Musa alayhis salam. "O Musa, now this nation will not be able to enter this holy land for 40 years. This land has been made forbidden to them. They shall wander lost in this wilderness." The world saw that the nation destined to be kings and heirs became forced to wander in the desert dust because of their fear and lack of trust in Allah. This area, known as the Wilderness of Tea, became their prison. There were no walls or chains, but Allah's command became the greatest shackle. It is narrated that these 40 years were a continuous punishment for them. They would start their journey early in the morning, walking all day in the hope that they might find a settlement or that the desert would end. But when evening came, they would find themselves exactly where they had started in the morning. They were moving in circles. This was not just a physical journey. It was a map of the spiritual misguidance of those who turn away from Allah's path. During those 40 years, all those who had given that insolent reply to Prophet Musa alayhis salam perished. That entire generation that left Egypt with a slave mentality was buried in the desert sands. In this period, Prophet Musa alayhis salam and Prophet Harun alayhis salam also passed away. It was Allah's wisdom that the old generation should pass so a new generation could rise, a generation that had endured the hardships of the desert and had only the fear of Allah in their hearts, not the fear of giants. After 40 years, when the period of punishment ended, Prophet Yusha bin Nun alayhis salam took leadership of this new generation. These were youths with solid faith. When this army set out against the Jabareen, the scene had changed. Those same giants, who previously seemed invincible, proved to be like walls of sand against the help of Allah. Allah granted this new nation such a magnificent victory that history was stunned. The Holy Land, which had been forbidden due to cowardice, was laid at their feet due to their faith and bravery. This incident shakes us to the core. The Jabareen were destroyed because they were oppressors, but Bani Israel also reached the brink of ruin simply because they were afraid. They considered the problem bigger than Allah. Today, if we look at ourselves, Jabareen still stand before us, sometimes as poverty, sometimes as illness, or as tyrannical rulers. These problems seem colossal to us. We too sit down like Bani Israel and say, "O Allah, you do it, we cannot." We forget that if the sea can part and fire can turn cold, then the problems of our lives can also be solved. The only condition is that we take the first step. We must enter the gate. My dear friends, this story teaches us that victory in life is not achieved through strength, but through tawakkul, trust in Allah. No matter how big the giants are, they cannot be bigger than Allah's power. When you step forward to act on Allah's command, He creates means from the unseen that you could never imagine. Those giants whose heights touched the clouds turned to dust because they had arrogance.